What's going on, everyone? Talen here, and welcome to another uniform review video. Alright, so Iceman's uniform is out. I did not even realize it. For some reason, all of those pop-ups about Iceman at the start there just didn't register with me. I thought they were just saying, oh, he's coming soon still, or he'll be the next one, but he's actually here. So yeah, I'm a little late on this video, but anyway, as you can see, I have already purchased the uniform, so I've done a little bit of testing with it so far. Not a ton, but let's go ahead and take a look at the uniform here, and I'll give you my initial impressions on it. So uniform bonus is whenever he uses a freeze skill, he's going to get crit damage increased by 45% and all attack increased by 35%. That lasts for 7 seconds and it's on a 10-second cooldown. And like I had mentioned in the APK, this is when the freeze skill is used, not when the world boss is affected by or not when your enemy is affected by the freeze. So this will activate just from using the skill. You don't have to worry about the, fighting an enemy that's immune to freeze and then not having a trigger. So I really like that. So that means you actually have multiple skills that you can use to actually get this to proc. And then we have 3 skill changes here. The first skill is just going to be an animation change, same with the second skill. And then the third skill here is now going to include some clones or summons here. So that's the main change for the third skill. It still has the damage immunity. We still got some super armor and all defense. So let's go ahead and hop into the skill preview and we'll see what these 3 new skills actually look like, or these 3 changes look like. For the first skill, which is one I really like, he kind of jumps around on some ice sheets there, and then he just brings them raining down on top of the enemy. So that's pretty cool, and I like that it's still a full iframe because I do rely on that skill in my skill rotation. The second skill here is just a little bit of a quicker animation, so actually you can throw this into your skill rotation a lot easier. It's just a standard attack there, no iframe or anything like that, just a nice quick attack to get some damage in. And then the third skill here, as you can see, he now summons 2 clones to help him out here, and they will do different attacks depending on what skill you use. Use second skill, it doesn't look like that one affects him, but the first skill here, as you can see, those kind of icicles that they're throwing there get like enlarged and do a lot more damage, a lot more AoE when you use the first skill. For the fourth skill, they kind of just jump in and just do like a ice explosion when they hit the ground, so it's also pretty nice. And then for the fifth skill, you can see they summon like giant icicle kind of orbs there that just pierce the enemy, so that's pretty cool as well. So the clones look really nice, they have cool interactions with the skills, so I do really like that aspect. You're going to be getting a lot more damage out of them as well, because they do seem to actually do a significant amount of damage. But the only thing I don't like about that is now the world boss will have another target. So when you go into an iframe or something like that, the world boss can target the clone, and then they can go into an iframe and kind of interrupt you. And also, the biggest change that I do not like about the third skill is the cooldown time. Look at this. It goes up to a 30-second cooldown. We go back here. Oh, well, I've got to go all the way back now. If we go back here and then we switch to him without the uniform, we go over to the skills. So look at the third skill. It's on a 12-second cooldown. So that actually really hurts his survivability, which is one thing I don't like about the uniform. The uniform gives him a lot worse survivability, but it gives him more damage. So you kind of have like a trade-off there. If you want more damage, you can go ahead and get the uniform. If you want more survivability, you might actually be better off just using the base Iceman here. But that's just kind of the impressions I get, because you kind of need this damage immunity on the third skill to chain together your skills effectively. When I'm using the uniform here, I find that I have most of the time 3 seconds that I need to kite around before I can use another skill to get protected. So you have 2 to 3 seconds of downtime with the uniform, whereas without the uniform, if you chain the skills together, you actually have no downtime where you're not protected. So I can go ahead and show you real quick. So we'll hop into a world boss fight here. We're just going to be going against Ebony. I was trying him out against stage 50 for my initial testing, and then I moved up to stage 60 just to have a slightly longer fight so that I could get a better idea of how much the survivability was affected. In terms of the damage on stage 50 with the uniform, getting him to the phase change was about 10 seconds quicker, maybe a little more than 10 seconds, but around 10 seconds quicker. So that's actually pretty noticeable because he was getting to the phase change in about 40 seconds without the uniform, and then with the uniform it was about 30 seconds for me. So now we're on stage 60 though, so I haven't tried him without the uniform on this one yet. So here we go, we have the uniform here, so I'll open the 5th skill, get that going, hop into the 4th skill, then we do 2, and then 1 for the iframe, and then we hop into 3 for the damage immunity, wait for 1, go back to 1 here, do 4, do 2, then we hop into 1 for the iframe, and right now is when I'd normally be using the 3rd skill, but as you can see, I've got to kite around a little bit here. Now we go back into the 4th skill, go over here to the 1st skill. Now we can do the 3rd skill like I normally would. And I think the 2nd skill is on a longer cooldown as well, because normally I'd be able to always use the 2nd skill with the 1st skill when I'm doing my kind of in-between rotations. So now right now I've got to wait. So that's my only real complaints about that, about the uniform change right there, or the change to the 3rd skill. But as you can see, the damage is really good here. We got to the phase change with what, 40 or 50 seconds. So it took about 50 seconds to do the phase change there. So now if we go ahead and switch him to without the uniform on stage 60 here. So we'll go ahead back over here and equip his modern look. Then we can hop back in and you'll just see how much easier it is to keep him alive, or at least you'll see that he has damage immunity up or in an iframe the entire fight. So that's kind of the main difference, but you will see the damage does take a bit of a hit. So let's go ahead and show that here. Switch back over to Iceman. Alright, we're going to be doing the same skill rotation that I like to use. Boom, go into there. See, and then I can use the 2nd and the 1st skill. So yeah, the 2nd skill must be on a longer cooldown as well for the uniform, so I'm missing out on that a little bit of damage. But as you can see, using that 3rd skill right there for the immunity, having that up every rotation, it helps a lot in keeping him safe, because right now I'm not even worrying about trying to move. I'm literally not touching the joystick. I can just sit here and use this skill rotation, and Iceman should be safe unless I mess up or something and hit the skill a little bit late, or if for some reason Ebony teleports too far away from me so I have to run towards him to get the skill to activate. Oh, or if I mess up my skill rotation right there by accidentally hitting the 3 when I was trying to hit the 1. So yeah, just little things like that. But as you can see, it's just a lot easier to keep him alive with this uniform, and it's not as significant actually damage difference, because look at that, we got the phase change 4 minutes and 2 seconds on the clock. It was 4 minutes and 11 seconds, but I do remember that we're into the 12th bar for the uniform, so there was a little bit more damage done as well getting to the phase change. So as you can see, the damage actually isn't as significant as I initially thought. We'll be generous and say was about an extra bar's worth of damage in a minute or something, or maybe a bar and a half in a minute's time, I would say, for his damage increase. But you do lose that bit of survivability, so I'm not really sure how I feel actually about his uniform here. Initially I was really excited for it because I did like the skill changes, like the looks and the animations and stuff like that, so I thought all of that was really cool. But that kind of change to the cooldowns on his skills is actually a little bit painful for Iceman here, because it just makes it a little bit harder to play him, at least in my opinion. If you found a better rotation for him, feel free to let me know. But he only has the invincibility on the 5th skill here. He's got a very short iframe at the start of the 4th skill, and then it goes away. The third skill has the damage immunity, so that is good. The 2nd skill doesn't have an iframe, and the 1st skill does have an iframe, but you don't have... The 1st skill is on a short cooldown, but I can't seem to, you know, get back around to it when I need it to do it like twice in a row to keep him alive, or to at least keep him protected the entire time. So those are just kind of the things that I've noticed about his uniform here. So overall, I still like the uniform. I'm just not sure how much I will actually be using it. So I'm gonna have to, you know, play around with Iceman a little bit more, use him more in War Boss Ultimate to see if I really am just dying too much, or if I'm just finding it a little too difficult to play with the uniform. Then maybe I'll switch to using it without the uniform for a while, and then see if I'm enjoying playing him more, if I'm having, you know, an easier time keeping him alive, if I'm not noticing too much of a damage difference, so that kind of thing. But I do only have the uniform at normal rank right here because I don't have any of his biometrics, and I didn't really feel like buying a pack just to get his biometrics to rank up the uniform. So that could also increase his damage and a little bit for his survivability, because of course you have that all defense, and then you'll be filling in with the other stats you get from the uniform bonuses. So there is that. So definitely a lot more potential here with the uniform, since I do only have it at normal. So the damage gap will start getting, you know, a lot wider once I get the uniform to mythic or legendary, if I decide to go that route. I don't have a mega uniform tickets, which I don't know if I'd really use it on him right now, because right now, like I said, the uniform isn't impressing me enough, mainly only because of the skill cooldown on the third skill. If the third skill is more manageable with the skill cooldown, I think I would be enjoying this uniform a lot more. But, you know, that's the skill that has the clones on it, so they can't really lower that cooldown too much, because then you can just keep spamming the clones all the time. So maybe if they had like moved it to like the second skill or something like that, and then increased the second skill but kept, or if they just added the 3 seconds of immunity to the second skill and took it away from the third skill, actually I think I would like that as well. Just something like that, so it's a little easier to keep his protection up throughout his skill rotation, just because, you know, going from the base kit, making it so easy to play him, and then going to this and you have all that downtime, it just feels, you know, it feels worse even if you're doing better with the uniform, if that makes any sense, just because of the skills, how you know, fluid they feel connecting the skills together. But anyway, that's just my opinion on it. I think I've talked a little too much on this, a bit going on and on. So I'm curious to know what your thoughts are about the uniform here. Did you pick it up? Did you notice any of the things that I'm talking about? Was it not a big deal for you? Did the damage increase seem more potent for you, so you didn't really mind having to kind of run around a little bit to stall for time? But anyway, that's going to be it for this video here. Hopefully you enjoyed, and of course I will catch you in the next one.